All right, let's do this. It's Wade Price with eXp Realty, and welcome to my channel, where every week I dive into everything you need to know about living your best life in the Nashville area. Before we get started, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and give this video a like, because trust me, you're going to stick around till the end for this one. And don't forget to drop me a comment below. Today we're talking about some of the biggest challenges you might face if you're considering a move to Nashville, Tennessee. While it's a thriving city, tons of appeal, it's not perfect, and that's exactly what we'll dive into today. And I'm going to be real, so it's going to sound pretty negative, but it's the facts that you need to know. As we go along, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below if you've experienced any of these issues in any city that you're considering, or if you found solutions to them. All right, let's jump right in. Number one, the cost of living is not what you think. Everyone used to say Nashville was an affordable city to live in. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that ship has officially sailed. Let's talk about housing costs first, because if you're thinking about moving here, that's the first thing you need to talk about. This is where you're going to feel the biggest financial impact. The median home price in Nashville is now over $450,000, and that's a huge increase over just the last 5 years. A starter home under $400K, that's practically non-existent unless you're okay with a major fixer-upper or moving, outside the city somewhere. Renters, listen up. A one-bedroom apartment will easily run you between $1,800 and $2,500 per month, depending on the neighborhood. Want to live closer to downtown? Prepare to pay even more. Now, it's not just housing that's getting pricey, it's everything else too. Groceries, a gallon of milk, a dozen eggs, and that's everywhere. Fresh produce costs more now than it ever has. Gas prices, they fluctuate, but it's definitely not the cheap fill up it used to be. And the closer you get to Nashville, the more it is. Utilities, if you never experienced a Tennessee summer, let me tell you, your air conditioning bill in July is not going to be pretty. And here's the kicker, wages in Nashville haven't kept up with these rising costs. Work in tech, healthcare, or the music industry, you might be in a solid financial spot. For a lot of people, the numbers are just not adding up. So is Nashville really affordable anymore? For some, maybe, but for a lot of folks, especially first-time home buyers and renters, it's becoming a tough place to keep up with the rising cost of living. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most expensive city you've ever lived in? Drop it in the comments below. If you're already in Nashville, do you think it's still affordable, or has it gotten out of control? Let's talk about it. All right, now let's talk about the housing market, and it's wild. You'd think with all the new developments going up around Nashville, housing would be getting more affordable, right? Well, not exactly. In reality, Nashville's real estate market is one of the most competitive in the country, and if you're house hunting here, you better be prepared for a battle. Let me break it down for you. Homes are selling fast. We're talking multiple offers within hours of hitting the market. You see a home you like, you don't have days to think about it. You've got minutes or hours. Bidding wars are the norm. If you're shopping for a home under $400K, you're competing with 10, 20, sometimes even up to 30 other buyers, and the final sales price often way over asking. Cash buyers and out-of-state investors are flooding the market. Folks from California, New York, and Chicago are swooping in. Cash offers, driving prices even higher, and making it tougher for locals to compete. So you think maybe I move to the suburbs. A lot of people assume that moving just outside the city means cheaper prices, but even Franklin, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Murfreesboro have skyrocketing home prices. The reality, even the suburbs aren't as affordable as they used to be. So if you're thinking about buying here, you have to ask yourself some questions. Number one, are you willing to make compromises? Because getting your dream home in Nashville probably means paying more than you expected, or settling for less space, an older home, or less ideal location. Number two, are you ready for the competition? If you're not pre-approved and ready to move fast, you could be outbid before you even have a chance. So no matter where you're looking, Nashville's housing market is not for the faint of heart. So you need to ask yourself, is it worth it to you? Okay, next up, traffic can be a nightmare, and public transport is, well, not that good. If you're thinking, oh, I'll just hop on public transport to avoid the traffic, I hate to break it to you, but Nashville has almost no real public transit, and that's a big problem for a growing city. So let's talk about it for a minute, because honestly, it doesn't exist. There are plans though. There's no subway, no light rail, no commuter train. That's right. Unlike cities like Chicago, New York, or even Atlanta, Nashville has zero rapid transit options. The bus system, it's slow and unreliable and can be limited if you live outside the core downtown areas. Chances are the buses won't even get you where you need to go conveniently. And if they do, it might take you 2 hours for what should be a 20-minute drive. Walking, it's not that great. Nashville is not a pedestrian-friendly city. Sidewalks, not everywhere. Crosswalks, hit or miss. Biking, only for the brave, even though I do it. Now let's talk about traffic. Nashville's traffic is a mess, and it's only getting worse. Forget comparing it to smaller southern cities. Nashville is creeping up there with LA and Atlanta when it comes to congested roadways. The interstates, I-65, I-24, and I-40 are jam-packed morning and night. A 15-minute drive can easily turn into a 45-minute headache. And if there's an accident, construction, or just bad weather, forget about it. You're stuck. And here's the kicker. Most people who live in Nashville rely on cars because they have to. With no decent public transit, the roads are just getting more clogged by the day. So if you're thinking about moving here and commuting to work, ask yourself, number one, how much time are you willing to spend in traffic every day? Number two, are you okay with dealing with stop and go gridlock during rush hour? And number three, would you prefer paying premium prices to live closer to work to avoid commutes? Just some things to think about. So let's talk about the weather. In Middle Tennessee, it's great a lot of the year, but let's talk about some of the extremes, because if you're moving here, you better be prepared for some of those extremes. First up, the summers. If you think you know hot and humid, think again. From June through September, Nashville turns into a sauna with temperatures regularly hitting 90+ degrees and humidity levels so high that you feel like you need gills to breathe. It can get tough. I'm used to it because I've lived here for a long time. Ever walked outside and instantly regretted wearing anything but gym clothes? That's every single day in the summer here. And don't even get me started on air conditioning bills, because trust me, you'll be running that AC nonstop. Now let's talk about the winters. Nashville doesn't get the brutal winters of the Midwest or the Northeast, but here's the catch. The city shuts down over an inch of snow. Maybe that's an exaggeration. I think it's getting better. But if there's even a dusting of snow or a little bit of ice, schools do close, businesses shut down, and suddenly it's like the apocalypse. The roads become a nightmare because nobody here knows how to drive in winter weather, because it only happens, once a year. But you know what's even worse than hot summers and mild winters? Tornado season. Yep, Nashville is in the middle of Tornado Alley. If you've never heard tornado siren blasting in the middle of the night, trust me, it's enough to make your heart stop. The 2020 Nashville tornado, it tore through parts of East Nashville where I live, Germantown and Mount Juliet, and it caused a lot of destruction. And tornadoes aren't just a once in a while thing. They happen every year somewhere in Middle Tennessee. And if that's not enough, let's talk about flooding. If you haven't heard of the 2021 Waverly flood, look it up. Nashville and surrounding areas are prone to major flooding, especially after really heavy rains or several days in a row of rain. Some neighborhoods experience flash floods, and when that happens, roads get shut down, homes get destroyed, and it's just a real mess. So let's recap. Summers can be miserable, hot and humid. Winters, mild, but the city freaks out over an inch of snow. Tornadoes can be a serious threat. Flooding, it is a real issue in certain areas. And if you're not a fan of extreme weather, sudden storms, or sweating through your clothes every summer, you might want to think twice before moving here. Next up on the negative side is tourism. Let's be real, Nashville is bachelorette party central. If you haven't been here on a weekend, let me paint a picture for you. Pedal taverns clogging the streets, blasting country music, while groups of bridesmaids scream, "Woo!" at the top of their lungs. Party buses packed with tourists dancing under neon lights, many holding oversized drinks and wearing cowboy hats they just bought. You see that all the time. Broadway bars overflowing with people from all over the country singing along badly to live bands. They're having fun. Basically, if Las Vegas and a country music festival had a baby, it would be Broadway on a Friday night. Now, don't get me wrong. If you love the nightlife and live music, it's a blast, and it's here all the time. But if you actually live here, and just want to grab a bite or eat or go about your day, good luck. It can be a nuisance. The bars, they are usually packed unless you like waiting 30 minutes for a drink while dodging a bachelorette party doing karaoke. I'm not kidding. And the prices, forget about that affordable southern city reputation. Nashville's downtown is expensive. A simple cocktail, that'll be $15 to $20, no joke. Looking for a hotel, you might as well book a flight somewhere. Same price. Parking, good luck. I like to go downtown to events, and I kind of know where to find, but if you have to pay 30 to 50 bucks just to park for a few hours. And here's the thing, it's not just Broadway. Tourism has spread across the entire city. 12 South is overrun with influencers taking photos in front of murals. The Gulch, expensive brunch spots packed with out-of-towners. East Nashville, even the hipster neighborhoods have been discovered. That's where I live. If you're someone who loves peace and quiet, this constant party atmosphere might drive you nuts. And let's be real, tourists don't just party. They also drive like they've never seen a four-way stop before. If you're stuck behind a slow-moving group of scooters, a pedal tavern, and an out-of-state driver all at once, well, welcome to Nashville.